How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good about that. It shows that the strategic voting impulse is not as strong this time as it was last
Exactly.
time. So, if you remember 2015, we were polling about 8.4%, and then in the last week we crumbled to 3.4%.
Right.
It was a huge loss because of that strategic voting impulse.
Mm-hmm.
And this year we were polling as high as 11%, and we've only dropped to almost 9%. So we're doing much better in that respect.
Well, you're almost 1,000 votes ahead now than you were at the end of the last election. Patricia Sinnet got 1,990 votes at 3.1%. You've got 2,916 at 8.4%. So that's a pretty significant increase, Jeff. Congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, Patricia also kind of fell on her sword and suggested to her supporters that they vote their conscience, which was a slightly veiled version of saying vote strategically, because she was watching the polls and realized how close it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's happened in a few ridings across the country here for the Greens to want to sort of capitulate to that. But on the whole, the Green Party says, you know what, let's vote for what we actually want.
Right.
Because the only way we're ever going to get what we want is if we actually decide to vote for it. And a lot of people voted strategically for the last time in 2015, thinking that they would never have to do it again.
Right.
They're pretty upset that they've had to do it again.
Mm-hmm. It's true, and I think that may have affected the Liberals in this riding, actually.
Yeah, definitely. And I think no matter who wins them, and it's looking pretty securely like it's going to be a Liberal minority at this point. But I think that they are going to, strategic or proportional representation is going to be back on the table.
Jeff, York here. What are your thoughts on the race here in Northumberland-Peterborough South and the results that CTV has now predicted that Philip Lawrence will be elected?
Yeah, I'm not at all surprised by that. The thing I like about Canadian politics is that no matter how nasty it gets at a national level, we still manage to keep it classy and congenial at the local level. And that's true of what happens in local press as well as what happens between the candidates. And so we all had very good rapport out running. But I had a sense for a while now that Philip was pulling ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And I am disappointed by that because, the Conservatives didn't even produce a platform until after advanced polling had started, which I think is actually just really disrespectful to the voters.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important that people know what the party is going to do and what it stands for. So, it just goes to show that the way that the Conservative campaign isn't about substance. It isn't about what they want to do. It's about attacking the Liberals. And I really think that people deserve better than that. But I understand that a lot of people are frustrated with the Liberals at the same time. And so, I'm not disappointed that Phil's probably going to win tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But I am glad that Phil and I have a good rapport, that he knows who I am and what I stand for, and that he can expect to be hearing from me over the next few years.
Well,
right.
that's the next question, because one of the things David Piccini said when we had him in the studio a little while ago was, if this is a minority parliament, we could be back to the polls. Are you prepared at this point to take your time from tonight forward to build your base, to build your team, to get elected in the next general election?
Well, this is my third election in the last 18 months.
It is.
So
Yes.
This is my jam. This is what I do. I'm going to keep on this until we see the changes that we need to see, because this is not a matter of personal ambition. This is not a matter of a hobby or a career choice. I'm talking about the future of my children. So I will do this as many times as is necessary to see the changes that we need, because, you can't, the climate doesn't care who won in Northumberland-Peterborough South. And we have significant challenges that have not been adequately addressed in this campaign. So frankly, if we end up with a mulligan election after a couple of months, I think that would honestly probably be a good thing, because this election was so completely underwhelming on a policy level.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was. It really was.
Jeff, it's Graham here. I commented on your Facebook earlier today about running a positive campaign, but an educated campaign, and I follow all the politicians, but with your presence on social media, I've really seen how you've engaged with the local voters and really promoting your opinion, but also the facts as well. And I really think that's important, especially with your prime. Ideas. So I really was really excited to see that, Jeff. As I didn't see that with the other candidates.
Well, thank you, Graham. I think it's really important that people actually know that this is not just a matter of, this is not a sport. This is not like the Super Bowl for nerds. This is our lives.
Exactly.
This is how we determine our common future together. And unfortunately, so much of it really comes down to the basic psychology of tribalism, being in the in-group and wanting to be victorious, wanting your vote to be for the winning team.
Mm-hmm.
The political and moral psychology behind all of this is absolutely fascinating. If it wasn't so depressing to realize that this is how we decide our future together.
Jeff,
So I want to make sure that I do everything I can to help people make an informed choice, and also to be able to build community with people, to be able to engage on a level that goes beyond just I want your vote. I want to help you to invest in your community as well, because the amazing thing about campaigning locally is that you meet so many people who are so connected and engaged with their communities, and you realize there's so much more to our community than most of us realize day to day.
Exactly.
And so I feel really privileged to be part of that, and I want to do everything I can to promote it, because if those groups that are behind the scenes that are supporting their communities, if they start to dwindle and fade away, and we're seeing that with Rotary clubs and churches and all sorts of groups that are dwindling, if those fade away, our society as we know it, even though we don't realize all those people are there doing that work, without them, we're in trouble. So I want to do everything I can to support this community, because at the end of the day, whether I win or lose, I still got to live here.
Absolutely.
Well, exactly.
We
Jeff,
should let
and
you know that Elizababeth May has won her seat, Jeff, so that should make you quite happy.
Perfect. So I expected no less, but very happy to see. And, starting the night with leading in Fredericton, some polls already this past week suggested we would only get one seat across the country.
Well, it looks like you might get 4. You're leading or have been elected in 4, so that'll be very interesting. Jeff, I want to thank you for taking time to talk to us tonight. And I wish you good luck in the future. And if there is an election in the short term, I hope to see you out there on the hustings.
Oh, you will. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you so much.